A dusty merchant sits on a wooden stool. He holds a small, dull gray pebble. Sunlight hits the stone. Suddenly, a tiny flash of light jumps from the rock. The merchant smiles and hides the stone in his pocket. That cold, hard pebble would eventually become the most expensive gift in the world. Why do we decide this specific stone was special? Today, millions of people wear diamonds on their fingers. We see them in movies and expensive shops. We think they're the ultimate sign of love. But for most of human history, diamonds were just rocks. They were not the most popular gem. They were not even the most colorful. Rubies and emeralds were often worth much more. So, how did a common stone become so valuable? The answer is not just about geology. It is a story of clever ideas and global systems. It is a story about how we value things. Long ago, the story began in the riverbeds of India. Imagine a young man walking near the water. He looks down at the mud. He sees a clear, heavy stone. He picks it up and feels its weight. It is harder than any other rock he has ever found. He tries to break it with a hammer. The hammer bounces off. The stone does not break. In ancient India, people loved these stones because they were strong. They called them adamas, which means unconquerable. They believed these stones had magical powers. A king might wear one to stay safe in battle. A doctor might use one to try to cure a fever. But back then, diamonds were not cut to sparkle. They looked like rough glass. They were rare, but they were not a global obsession. For hundreds of years, India was the only source of diamonds. Only the very rich could own them. A merchant might travel for months across hot deserts. He carried a small silk bag. Inside were a few rough stones. He traded them for silk, spices, and gold. The system was small and quiet. Then, everything started to change in the 1700s. In Brazil, gold miners were busy digging in the dirt. They were looking for yellow metal, but they kept finding small, clear pebbles. They thought the pebbles were annoying. They used them as markers in card games. One day, a traveler saw the miners playing cards. He looked at the markers. His heart began to beat fast. He knew those markers were diamonds. Suddenly, the world had a new supply. More diamonds enter the market. When things become common, they usually become cheap. The kings and queens of Europe were worried. They liked diamonds because they were rare. If everyone could have one, the stones would lose their magic. The market was changing, but the real explosion was still hidden underground. In 1867, a young boy named Erasmus Jacobs was walking on his father's farm in South Africa. The sun was hot on his neck. He saw a pretty stone near the Orange River. He put it in his pocket and took it home. His mother thought it was just a toy, but a neighbor saw it and offered to buy it. That toy was a huge diamond. A few years later, thousands of people arrived in South Africa. They brought shovels and buckets. They began to dig a giant hole in the ground. This place became the Kimberley mine. It was a chaotic scene. Men covered in red dust worked day and night. They found more diamonds than anyone had ever seen in history. This created a big problem for the diamond sellers. If millions of diamonds came out of the ground, they would become as cheap as marbles. The people who owned the mines saw this coming. They realized that if they wanted diamonds to stay valuable, they had to control the flow. This is when a new system began to grow. A group of businessmen decided to work together. They bought all the small mines and turned them into one big company. This company did not sell all the diamonds at once. Instead, they kept most of them in vaults. They only released a small amount every year. By limiting the supply, they kept the price high. But a high price is not enough. You also need people who want the product. In the early 1900s, diamonds were not very popular for weddings. Most people bought simple gold bands. Some chose sapphires or pearls. Diamonds were seen as something only for the elite. The industry needed a way to connect diamonds to everyday human emotions. In a busy office in New York City, a group of writers sat around a table. It was 1938. The economy was difficult. People did not have extra money for luxury. The writers had a task. They had to make young men believe that a diamond was a necessity. They began to place stories in magazines. They showed pictures of movie stars wearing large rings. They suggested that the size of a diamond showed the size of a man's success. They created a feeling that a proposal without a diamond was not a real proposal. Then, one writer sat down and wrote 4 simple words: "A diamond is forever." This sentence changed history. It did not talk about the stone's price. It talked about its nature. Diamonds are very hard. They do not wear away. The writers connected this physical fact to the idea of eternal love. A young couple sits on a park bench. The man is nervous. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small box. Inside, a diamond catches the light. To the couple, this stone represents their future. They do not think about the mines in Africa or the offices in New York. They only see their own love. This was a brilliant shift in thinking. The system encouraged people to buy diamonds and never sell them. If you sell a diamond, it goes back into the market. If it stays on a finger or in a jewelry box, the supply stays low. The idea of forever was perfect for keeping the value stable. Over time, this system became a global tradition. In the 1950s, the idea moved to Japan. Before this, Japanese couples did not use diamond rings for weddings. But after a few years of clever images and stories, the culture changed. Now, it is a standard part of life there, just like in the West. But why do we still follow this system today? Scientists tell us that diamonds are actually quite common. Deep inside the Earth, there are huge amounts of carbon. Under extreme heat and pressure, this carbon turns into diamond. There is even a planet in space that scientists think is made mostly of diamond. On our own planet, we have also learned how to make them. Imagine a high-tech laboratory. The room is filled with the hum of machines. Inside a thick metal chamber, scientists create intense heat. They use a tiny seed of a diamond and add carbon gas. Days later, they open the chamber. A beautiful, clear diamond is grown inside. These are not fake diamonds. They are physically and chemically the same as stones from the ground. A professional jeweler often cannot tell the difference without special tools. When these lab diamonds first appeared, the traditional industry was worried. They had spent 100 years telling us that diamonds were rare and natural. Now a machine could make one in a week. Instead of fighting the technology, the system adapted. It began to focus on the story of the natural diamond. They argued that a stone that spent billions of years underground was more meaningful than one made in a lab. A shopper stands in a jewelry store. She looks at 2 rings. They look exactly the same. One was dug out of the earth. The other was grown in a lab. The lab stone is much cheaper. She has to make a choice. What is she actually buying? Is she buying a piece of carbon, or is she buying the story of the stone? This shows us how value works in our modern world. Value is not always about how rare something is. It is often about how we feel about it. It is about the stories we tell each other. We decided that diamonds represent love, so they do. This system has faced many challenges. People began to ask questions about how diamonds were mined. They heard stories about difficult conditions and conflict. The world started to demand more transparency. They want to know exactly where their stones came from. In response, the system created new rules. They started using certificates and tracking codes. They wanted to show that diamonds could be a force for good. They talked about how the industry provides jobs to thousands of people in developing countries. This shift shows how systems change when the public changes. When we care about ethics, the companies must care too. The diamond on a person's finger today carries a different meaning than it did 50 years ago. But even with all these changes, the central idea remains. We still look at that sparkling stone and see something special. We have been taught to see beauty in its hardness and its light. The story of the diamond is a mirror to our own history. It shows how a simple resource can be transformed by human imagination. We took a gray pebble from a river and turned it into a symbol of the heart. Think about the objects in your own life. Why do you value your phone, your watch, or your favorite shoes? Is it because they're useful? Or is it because of the story the world has told you about them? We live inside many systems like this. From the clothes we wear to the food we eat, our choices are often shaped by history and clever ideas from the past. We think we are making simple choices, but we are often following a path that was built long before we were born. The diamond industry is one of the most successful examples of this. It taught us that a stone can be more than a stone. It taught us that value is something we create together. As you walk down a busy street today, you might see a jewelry shop. The windows sparkle under the bright lights. People stop to look and dream. They see luxury and romance. They see a promise of forever. The gray pebble from the ancient Indian River has come a long way. It survived deep underground for billions of years. It was found by farmers and miners. It was shaped by the hands of workers and the minds of writers. It is no longer just a piece of carbon. It is a piece of human history. The way we value things is always changing. New technologies will arrive. New stories will be told. Perhaps one day, we will find a new stone that we love even more. Or perhaps the diamond will stay on its throne for another 1,000 years. History shows us that nothing stays the same forever, except perhaps our desire to find meaning in the world around us. We want our lives to feel important. We want our love to feel permanent. And so, we look for things that do not break. We look for things that shine. The diamond is a small window into the human soul. It shows our love for beauty and our talent for organization. It shows how we can take something common and make it feel like a miracle. Do you think a diamond is still the best way to show love? Maybe the real value is not in the stone itself, but in the person who gives it. Or maybe the story of the diamond is just a very long lesson in how we decide what matters. Write your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know what you think about how we value the objects in our lives. And if this story about diamonds surprised you, the hidden history of how we started using paper money may surprise you even more. History is full of these small secrets. Every object has a voice. We just have to stop and listen to what it is trying to tell us about ourselves. The next time you see a sparkle on someone's hand, remember the dusty merchant and his gray pebble. Remember the giant hole in the ground in South Africa. And remember the 4 words written in a New York office that changed the world. The stone did not change. We did. And that is perhaps the most interesting story of all. How we see the world shapes the world. A diamond is only a diamond because we say it is. What else have we decided is valuable? The answers are all around us, hidden in plain sight. We just have to keep asking why. Every system has a beginning. Every tradition has a reason. When we understand the past, we can better understand our own choices today. Thank you for listening to this story. Our journey through history continues in the next video, where we will look at another simple item that changed the global economy. Until then, keep looking closer at the world around you. You never know when a small, dull stone might turn out to be something much more. The world is full of hidden value. We just need to know where to look. Take a moment today to think about the things you own. Which ones are truly rare? And which ones are valuable because of the stories they carry? The truth might be more interesting than you think. The diamond's journey from the mud to the crown is a testament to the power of human belief. We are the ones who give the world its shine. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next story.